Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Ultimatum League 3.14. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys everything I know about Phantasm support. Let's make a Phantasm build, let's go! Alright, let's get into the first thing I figured out. So I found out that the quality on the active skill gem that summons Phantasm support actually gets applied to the Phantasms. So in the case of Carrion Golem, I have minion increased damage and increased minion life. This was cool, and that's how I figured it out. But if you use it on thinking it now about every single alt quality minion active skill gem, there's two that I found that are really cool. So Phantasmal Raised Spectre has minions are created with maximum frenzy charges. There's no way this works, right? And then the second one is Herald of Purity. Minions have a chance to taunt 10%. So your Phantasms taunt, and that's really cool. And so now I'll show you. We have two slave drivers. They kill. They summon phantasms with maximum frenzy charges on spawn for 4 seconds. What? Oh my god. Second thing I figured out is that a level 21 version of Summon Phantasm support, you actually get 11 phantasms. That's how you saw I have 11. Pog, that's really cool too. Then I went through the SOULWREST because I actually used this in the Endless Delve event, and I didn't like it because it summons level 20 phantasms. But I found out that if you don't use the SOULWREST to summon your phantasms, the summon phantasm is actually based on the active skill gem level. So it shows here level 10, 120 to 180 and a total of 748 life. And look, 610 to 915 with 2,800 life. So then we took it one step further and imagine my build, and we put a phantasm in. Obviously it's not set up correctly, but the way, like, look, phantasm 106,000, and if you leveled up the main skill, you get massive damage increases and survivability, like the life. That was one of the biggest issues I had with phantasms. They were so squishy, and so they actually are tankier when you use them with an active skill. Then it's about which active skill has the best alternate quality and has the best scaling for the phantasm based on the gem. There's so much more to this. Then I found out that if you go into calculations and you look at this actual link, you can find out that you have another minion, Phantasm, and you go into projectile, and you see 438 increased, 54% more, and a 1.9 effective DPS. Okay, increased damage. It shows Primordial Harmonies as the parent condition having a Carrion Golem. Golem scaling works on what? What? How is that possible? That's pretty fucking weird. So the quality works. The buffs to the main minion seem to affect the phantasms if they can. This wow, wait, how broken is this? Wait, what's the play rate on a summon phantasm? 0.3%. Oh my god, you did it, Ethan. Just keep waiting. Here we go. So then I showed you how spectres in-game can use Phantasmal to make the minions created recently automatically spawn with maximum frenzy charges, and you could use Blessed Rebirth to make it so your minions don't die for 4 seconds, they don't take any damage, etc. But then I found out this. So you know how I said the quality affects the minion, the phantasms? So does the mods on the actual gem too. So minions have 30 LE res, 54 more minion move speed, and minions have accuracy. The accuracy is not important because the phantasm uses a spell, but I will show you that also this works. Look, you could look at the defenses and it actually will say when you select it from a spectre, it says raise spectre 30 base elemental resistance. So it actually gains 30 LE res, and then you look at the move speed, and it has 55 more move speed because of the raised spectre. So the main mods on the skill gems also matter. So then I went through every single active skill gem for minions, looking at all of the potential mods that can buff up minions on the main skill, on top of looking at all the alt quality versions. And now let's lead into this. And the items that scale the main skill scale it. Wow. Here we go. So this was pretty natural. As I mentioned, I found the two cool ones. Summoning them with max frenzy charges, and having a Herald of Purity with minions have chance to taunt on hit. This is really cool because the taunt from a Ghastly Jewel is actually on hit with attacks. So you can't use this for the Phantasms. Where this one is just chance to taunt on hit. So you will have taunt on your Phantasms. That's really, really cool. And then I found out, wait for it, Herald of Purity says minions have 54% more life. Minions have the taunt, and minions deal 135% more physical damage. There's no way that works, right? Okay, so we see the damage, 106. If you use the Spectre, 65. If you use Herald of Purity, 213. You look in the calculations, you go to Herald of Purity, you summon a Phantasm instead, and here you have 135 more with Herald of Purity on your Phantasm. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Oh my god. It's amazing. This is so incredible. This is so cool. I love this. So, quality affects it, the skill affects it, the skill level affects it. Now, where does this lead us? Bum bum bum. Secret build. Alright. Now, look. I've put together something, but don't... This is for example purposes only, to get us started, to get us into it, okay? 55 million damage. What I did is kind of funny. This is not the best way to do it. It was just a quick example to show what I'm trying to do here. So we don't even have a body armor. We don't got a boot. We could wear like a sack of walls, etc. There's a bunch of shit we could do. And the helm's just like... Yeah. So how I want to get this started is the main idea, the concept, okay, was if I'm going to do Herald of Purity into Phantasm because it has the more physical damage and the minion taunt, there's really two options, right? There's Spectres and there's Herald of Purity. So the Herald of Purity is crazy because it does more damage. The Frenzy's cool. The Spectres are cool because of the Frenzy charges. But honestly, we can still get the Frenzy charges with Spectres in this build, in theory. So what I did is I put Phantasm with Awaken Brutality, so only physical, Awaken Minion Damage, Empower 4, and Maim. And we put this in a weapon. And so this is similar to the Zombie weapon. It's a +1 socketed gems with Essence minion damage. We can also do the minion double damage from the Alva Temple. This was just to show an example. We can fracture the minion damage mod so that it's locked on it, safe. You can't remove it. And then we could then get the +1 and this +1 strength. And then this is a multi with +2 socketed support gems and then minion attack speed. And so you can see that our Herald of Purity 21 in here is actually 34. We got our Herald of Purity to 34. One of the main reasons I like doing levels for this is Herald of Purity doesn't increase the mana cost with levels, and then it gets more physical damage per level, so it has really crazy scaling. And I also mentioned that then the Phantasm should be 34 based on the scaling from the Herald of Purity, and then it has all those benefits and they taunt. And then you can use the weird Divergent Phantasm for the increased duration instead of the chance to get another one. And yeah, the Empower is actually an Empower 8 in this. Well, Empower 7, it gives 7 levels. It's an Empower 8 because Empower 4 plus all these levels. It's insane. And then the MAME gets levels and everything gets levels. It's all insane. And then I put on an Ami with just +2, so physical and strength skill gems. I also show that you can do a Helm enchant for Herald of Purity reduced mana reservation. There's also Circle of Guilt. Herald of Purity has reduced reservation. Sentinels of Purity deal increased damage. And you're like, Ethan, that says Sentinels of Purity deal increased damage. There's no way that works on the Herald of Agony's, Herald of Purity's Phantasm. And it's there. 200 damage increase from Circle of Guilts. Weird. Interesting. How the Golem stuff says it scales it, and so does the Herald stuff. And so then I went and I included a bunch of stuff. So obviously you could get a vulnerability with your Curse on Hit AG. I just wanted to show it in the POB. We have Pride. You have Flesh Offering, Skitterbots. You can do, in this build, we can't do Impale because it's a spell. And so we're doing War Banner instead with Awakened Generosity, and then you can also run Zealotry because it's a spell, so then you make Consecrated Ground as well, which I forgot to enable in the thing. That's really cool. And the links that I use, like these support gems, also help the Herald of Purity, so it's actually like, even though you're a Phantasm build with 55 million damage, the Sentinels aren't useless. They have some pretty good damage, and that's an AoE slam, and then they have the Crusade slam on a 6-second cooldown with double damage, so that's pretty cool. One of the main things is how you would spawn this, and it seems like you would probably do a Cyclone to get the Herald of Purities, and then the Herald of Purity, like this is a bosser, you hit a rare or unique and you summon them, and then you would use Cyclone, I guess. Originally, I was messing around with Tornado Shot because I started with a bow, but I'm not using the bow anymore. The Val Haze, then we have Bone Armor because we're a Necromancer, and Convocation. This is just to show some examples of things you could put in to amplify the damage that we probably would. We might automate the Flesh Offering with like a Cyclone. And because if this is our only 6-link, and this is all of our damage and all our carry, we actually technically have another 6-link since we're using a 2-handed weapon. We'll have a 6-link in the body armor too. So we could do our Cyclone setup in the 6-link with like Castle Channel, Infused Channeling, all that fun stuff that we did before with the Spirit Offering. And then I also big-brained the large cluster. Because we'll be summoning the Phantasms recently, you can use Call to Slaughter. And you summon the Herald of Purities recently, so you can use Call to Slaughter. And Renewal, because we're going to use Blessed Rebirth, which makes minions created recently cannot be damaged. So your minion would be at full health no matter what. And so full life, then they get the double damage. We could even use damage on full life in our link if we want to because of this setup. We'll have immune minions created recently. This is also kind of goes along with the Spectre setup too, because the Spectres make Phantasms that start with 3 Frenzy Charges recently, so it's for 4 seconds, then they can die, you make new Phantasms, they have maximum Frenzy Charges. It sounds really cool, but I don't know how you'd keep the Spectre alive if you're going to have your Phantasms dying. And then we actually use no res on the skill tree, because you'll create the Herald of Purities recently, and then they'll create the Phantasms recently, and they'll all be immune. Hopefully that's the idea. And then when they die, because they aren't immune anymore, then you regen 2% of life per second if a minion has died recently, and then you recover 4% of life on minion death. And maybe we're summoning a lot of things and they're dying all the time, so we're just healing, so this is built-in sustain. And I don't take the Rotting Claws because I mentioned it doesn't work. It specifically says on hit with attacks. And then I did this extra pathing just for mana reserve with a Might of the Meek and this, and we could obviously have more expensive versions where we use 1% reduced mana jewels to not need as much mana reserve. And then I also messed around with that. You could run Spiritual Aid to make the Cyclone do damage. You could also do Spiritual Command, and this is disgusting. we barely did anything, and we showed how scaling just the levels, Herald of Purity, Phantasm combo, and in a two-handed weapon seems absolutely bonkers, and no one has ever done this, and Phantasms have been sleeper OP this whole time. Jeez. And now I can even show gameplay for the setup. So we have Carrion Golem with the Summon Phantasm 21. So it's a level 29 Carrion Golem, and I'm using Spell Echo and Controlled Destruction. And it has minion damage, brutality. So we're going to run this tier 16 Atoll. This isn't perfectly set up for the build, and it's not the best active skill gem you can use, as I've showcased. So this is about 1.6 million Carrion Golem DPS with 7 million total Phantasm DPS. So you have to summon the Phantasms and you have to get the frenzy charges, but once you get going, it's actually pretty smooth. And so the main thing I want to show is the boss though. So we'll just run through the map like normal with the Phantasms and the Carrion Golems. The clear's pretty good. This is great for mapping, right? Phantasms are really sick. But where it really matters is let's test out the bossing. So let's wait for the Headhunter stack to go away. And now let's go into the boss and try this shit out. So this is the Summon Phantasms and Carrion Golem T16 Atoll. This boss is pretty good. Obviously, killing it before it does that smash is the ideal, but this is without so no enchant, because the enchant is for Dread Banner, and I'm not using Dread Banner. We're using War Banner instead because you can't impale, and so this is just for the increased effect. And then yeah, we literally don't have an enchant. And then this isn't ideal because I told you I would rather have a level 34 minion using a two-handed weapon, and then also it's better to use like spectres or Herald of Purity. So this is just for examples to show you that it does in fact work, and the damage is still pretty insane in just literally plug in and play into exactly what I already had. So I hope you appreciated the extra gameplay. Either way, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon, my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support, and thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!